How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Path to a King, episode 5. Today, we're going to talk about how to be masculine, the benefits of being masculine, and why you have to be masculine as a man. I'm joined by my buddy Angel and a guest on our show, the man himself, Aram.
Thank you for having me.
It's good, brother, of course. So, first thing we're going to talk about today is goal setting. So, do you want to start us off? Why don't you talk about what you think on goal settings, why people should set goals, and the benefits of accomplishing your goals?
I feel like goal setting is honestly the true masculine nature. It's what drives us men and what basically stands apart from very feminine people. The true masculine core is basically finding a goal and just completely obsessing over it and working towards it. You finish one goal, you go to the next one. Like back in the caveman days, one goal, make a fire, next goal, feed your family, etc., etc. So I feel like that's like the true masculine nature is finding goals and pursuing them and completely obsessing over them. And I feel like that's what drives truly masculine men.
It's a great point. And what do you think, can you describe the feeling or how would I say this? The positive thing that you get for completing these goals? Like the accomplishments, the benefits once you complete them?
The benefits of completing them, firstly, at least for me, you get like a feeling of dopamine and just a complete overwhelming sense of accomplishment that continues to drive you further onto your next goals. So that's personally for me. So
yeah, that's good, man. And another thing about goal setting is small wins. This is what I think the benefit is tiny wins. So you don't have to set big goals, even small wins. Like say you're going to do your bed this morning. You're going to take a shower and actually clean yourself this morning. Say you're going to get, if you work a job, you're going to get dressed. You're going to go, if you have like a business, you're going to get this done. You're going to call these certain peoples. If you do even like tiny wins like that, say like I'm going to do a walk. I'm going to eat a healthy meal this time instead of going out. All those tiny wins are going to stack up, and that's the best way to boost your confidence, because that's the only confidence that's unshakable. And also boost your test, stretch it up. Small wins.
And this is very true because it's unrealistic to set such a huge goal that it seems unattainable. A lot of people like to say, by the end of the year, I want to be rich. But how do you have to go into detail as to how you're going to do that? Are you going to start a business? Are you going to find a new job? Like Anthony said, you slowly start putting new small little goals that you can attain. That way it's a way of you tracking your progress, and also you feel more confident and you can accomplish more difficult things and have that knowledge of those small goals. It all adds up to the larger goal.
Mm-hmm. Think of it like a person that wants to be an NBA player, but he's never played basketball before. First time he touches a basketball, he's not going to say my goal is to make 500 threes before I leave, because he's never going to accomplish that. So a lot of people set big goals, and what happens, you don't accomplish that and you get discouraged. But how about if he says, I'm just going to make 1 3 today, or maybe 5 free throws today, and then builds it up every time? He's actually going to eventually reach his goal. Whereas the person who said, I'm going to make 500 threes right away is going to leave disappointed and most likely never going to actually reach the goal. So that's on goal setting. The next point of how to be masculine, and I feel like this is honestly the most important one: do not be emotional. Now, tell me why a man should not be emotional and why it's bad.
So in my opinion, showing emotion is a major red flag towards women. Obviously they won't say it because nowadays the society is so feminine and it's like, oh no, you want to cry, you can cry to me. But in reality, the woman will lose respect for you in the back of her mind. And then the more and more you show it, the more and more distant she will become. So generally, the best thing is to practice stoicism. Do not show your emotion and be a truly manly stoic kind of like as character for her. So like if something bad happens, you should be the one she can come towards and cry to, not vice versa. That's why there's a whole masculine feminine thing. Feminine are there, in my opinion, like the old day kind of like look towards it, which is like the female provides, the man goes out, goes to war, feeds the family, and is the one that's the rock solid kind of man, the one that doesn't show emotion and pushes through hard times, which in turn makes him a masculine man. So that's what I think.
That's a great point. But do you think men should show emotions like in front of their boys? Like when you hang out, just don't show it in front of girls, or don't show it at all? Just take care of it by yourself.
I feel like you should have one person in your life that you, like one best friend that you should show emotion to. Because keeping it all in completely is not good. I'm not saying like you should completely keep that all in. That's how you get psychos. But you should definitely have that one right-hand man that you trust, that you can vent to. He can vent to you. You can vent to him. You guys can tell each other things, but do not do it towards the woman. She will lose respect for you. and just over time, you guys will notice that you're getting more distant for sure.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with this. Like, we're not saying that you can't feel anything. Obviously, you're a human being and you're gonna feel things. And yeah, everybody's day is usually a roller coaster. You feel happy, you feel sad, but you control that. And you can't show it and cry about it or throw a fit about it. You just have to keep going and improve and fix the things you can fix. And like you said, it's important for you, so you don't go crazy in your own head, to have one person to talk to. But when you talk to this person, don't just complain to them about it. Be like, hey, so XYZ happened to me. How can I fix it?
Yeah.
Or let's create a solution, because complaining is not going to get you anywhere. Problem solving is. So if you talk about it and be like, what can I do to make it better? Then you can get your friends' insight, your brothers' insight, whoever they may be to you.
Good. I want you guys to be honest. I'm sure this situation has happened to both of you, and me included. Say you go through a really bad situation and you feel really bad, something happened, and you want to tell somebody about it. You have that one person, you tell them about it. Do you tell them that every single detail, or is there stuff that like you hide that you just cannot tell anybody? Because I know if I go through something and I have like a really story of like, say like I went through a heartbreak or something, I'll tell like that one person that I can trust the story. There's gonna be things that I keep inside that I'm not gonna share no matter what.
Yeah, I do the same.
Mm.
Because there are certain things that you can't share with somebody, and you kind of just have to deal with yourself.
Yeah, and for me, I just give them a super simple breakdown. I don't try to like fill their head with like useless info that they're probably gonna forget the next day. I just give them a simple breakdown, and then we try to find a solution generally. So I'm not trying to like give like a whole descriptive detail. Just give them a simple issue, and then from there we talk through it. If I need to get more detail, I will. So it's a case by case scenario type thing.
That's true. Another thing about emotion, I want to touch on this. This is how to make every single day that you have a good day. I used to do this all the time, still do it to this day, and it works. So if you decide my day is going to be good or bad based on the things that happened to you during that day, maybe that cute girl looked at you, maybe you got that promotion at your job, maybe you got some extra free time, you got your work done early, you get to hang out with your friends, maybe everybody was like smiling at you today, you had a good day. You cannot guarantee stuff like that is going to happen every single day. There's going to be days where you naturally feel bad and days where you naturally feel good. So how to make sure every day is a good day? Have things, just like goals, how we talked about earlier, that you do every single day. And say in your mind, as long as you accomplish those goals because you're making progress, you're going to feel happy. And if you do that every single day, no matter what happens, every single day, when you go to sleep, you're going to feel accomplished and you're going to feel like you had a good day. You guys agree?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not about emotion. It's not about how you feel in the morning or how you feel that day. It's about discipline. Regardless of how you feel, there's things that need to get done in your life, and you need to get them done in order to progress yourself holistically in your life.
Well said. Now, the third point of how to be a masculine man is delayed gratification. So an example of delayed gratification, we all know about dopamine. A lot of people like to do things to get, a cheap, quick dopamine, instant dopamine, and just to feel good right away. However, the common theme with all of those things is you feel good right away and you regret it after. Example, watching porn. Boom, jack off, feel good right away. After 2 seconds, you regret it. And what that does is whenever you take a loss, whenever you feel like you lost, that's going to lower your testosterone and that's going to lower your confidence and self-esteem. Another thing, eating McDonald's, eating fast food. So once you say you get a McDonald's burger, you're eating it, you're like, this is the best thing ever. Right after you finish it, you're going to regret it. So sure, you might have had, a couple minutes of satisfaction and gratification, but after that, you're going to regret it. So I want you guys to tell me, what is an example of delayed gratification that you guys used to do or you saw people used to do that you just stopped doing and that you're against now?
I mean, you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so basically about the whole delayed gratification dopamine thing. First off, nowadays I completely understand how hard it is to free yourself of all that, because you really don't even realize how many sources there are of it until you think about it. As he mentioned, there's porn, there's fast food, junk food, and it's all so easily to reach. And then nowadays, social media, like go on TikTok, all that short form content, all that instant dopamine, that is all extremely bad for you. And slowly cutting those things out of your life will create a night and day difference. Because personally, for myself, I was completely addicted to TikTok. I would look at my like phone usage on iPhone. You can see how long you've used it for, and it would be like 5 hours every day TikTok. And I was like, I just thought about it. First off, like this can't be good for me. Just like consuming all this short form
5 hours
content.
screen time.
Yeah, it was for just TikTok, and it was crazy. I mean, then again, it was during COVID because there wasn't much to do. But like I just thought the amount of stuff I could have been doing instead of like watching this is just crazy. Like, and you just don't realize it until you like research into it. That's why like myself going on this journey of self-improvement has just been like a day and night difference, because like it's just all these small things that add up that you don't really think about, and just society portrays to be normal is like truly crazy, and slowly cutting them out of your life will truly like make a 9-day difference. So slowly cutting out social media, eating better foods, working out, taking cold showers. Cold showers is a good thing also as well for getting your dopamine up. At first it's really rough, but sometimes you even look forward to it, and just slowly improving your life. So
I agree. Trust me, take cold showers. They are hard at first, but once you get used to them, like they're the best thing ever. Way better than hot showers. All right, go ahead, Angel. What's something for you?
For me, one thing that I saw that everybody was doing and everybody okayed it was what they like to call venting. To me, that was just complaining, and I'd do a lot of that. I would have a bad day or something didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I'd complain to a friend or to somebody, right? And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, like, well, what am I gaining out of this? I'm not gaining anything. Like, instead of complaining to people, I should sit down on my own, reflect, and see how I can improve that situation. Because most of the time, what bums out your day or what makes it bad is your own mindset, and a lot of the things that go wrong you could control. So let's say, like, I had a messed up day because I was feeling sluggish, right? Well, I should probably get better sleep. I should probably eat better, and maybe I should be physically fit every once in a while. I mean, for me, I'm physically fit every day, but sluggishness and lethargy, or that's how you say it, right? Lethargy.
I don't even know that word.
It just means feeling tired. But those are all linked to a bad exercise, bad sleep, and bad eating habits. So I cut out complaining and started thinking of solutions of how I could better these things. And I agree that the society is making it very easy for these instant gratifications. For example, porn, it's basically everywhere. You could get it on Instagram, you could get it on TikTok. It's so easily accessible, and this is something that before people were embarrassed about, but now you could walk around and hear people talking about their favorite porn star, saying, how many times a day do you jack off? Like, it's so normalized, like it's a normal thing that everybody should be doing it. But that's not the truth. You need to stop and you really need to analyze what you're doing with your life and see the best trajectory and path for you.
That's facts. And one thing I want to touch on is when you said about complaining. So if somebody complains to you, one of your friends, and they're usually a happy person, they usually don't complain, okay, listen to them, hear them out. However, if you have somebody in your life that complains to you 24/7, I'd recommend it. Unless they're a family member, cut them off. Stop talking to them. Because I used to have this friend, and she would complain to me every single day. Every single day she sees me. That's just how she is, about something like bad that happened in her day. And I used to think like, oh, I'm just going to be a nice person and just like listen, hear the story. After every single story, I felt worse. Every single time. And that's just, you can't let other people mess up your day like that. And you cannot be the one to mess up other people's day like that. So after I said like, after I just stopped listening, I literally told her like, I couldn't care less about your story. So you went and found somebody else to vent to. And guess what? Confidence up. Happiness up, just like that. Now, the fourth point about how to be a masculine man is surrounding yourself with men who are all goal-driven and who all have a purpose. Because you might be good enough by yourself, however, there's going to be that one day where you're going to be down or you're not going to feel like it. And if you have other men and other friends in your circle that are going to encourage you and hype you up, and that you'd feel embarrassed to fail around. Because if all of your friends work out every day and you skip a day, you're going to be embarrassed. Like, you're going to feel like you're getting outworked. They all work. Well, on the other hand, if you have all loser friends and, you're a loser as well, you're going to feel good because everyone's like you. So what do you guys think about that? How important is it to have people around you that also have goals and that have the same purpose as you, just want to get better?
In my opinion, I think it's extremely crucial, especially when you're first starting out, because I myself know I used to be extremely overweight, especially back during COVID, just doing all those bad habits. I mean, thank God now I've completely changed, went on a different path. But having people pushing you and motivating you is completely crucial, because back in my high school, I didn't really have anybody like that. The only time I really started like changing my life was through these kind of podcasts, these kind of self-help YouTube videos. Like this one guy called Hamza. He was massive towards towards self-help, and then Andrew Tate, and then it's really cool seeing like these figures coming out, like truly masculine figures teaching other people. Like I feel like if I never discovered them, I would have still been like led astray. But just finding them out truly motivated me. But I would imagine if I truly wasn't as goal driven like on the inside as I am to like change myself, like not having like people with the same mindset, it's rough, I feel. So definitely having people around you, just basically people that you can relate to, having the same goals as you. And sure, like if they're really like that much better than you will have jealousy, but jealousy is also just like a motivator. Don't use that as hate, use that as motivation. Like jealousy is there to motivate us to do and to do better and become better, give 100% and stuff like that.
That's
so.
a fact. That's what we talked about in the second episode, so check that out. Let jealousy motivate you. And did you know that Hamza actually retired today?
Yeah, I know.
Quit YouTube.
It was like a week ago, but he like re-released the video a couple times.
But I'm glad that you brought up Hamza and Andrew Tate, because one thing for me is when I first started this self-improvement journey, and we're going to talk about this too, how to manifest like people like you into your life. When you first start out, you're going to feel extremely lonely because most people around you are not going to be on that journey. They're not going to be doing the same things that you're doing. So it's important to have like an influencer or a role model, somebody who's big on social media, who makes self-improvement videos like that to help people that you look up to, such as Andrew Tate. You may not like him, Hamza, there's other people out there, but just like that.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think it's very important. I don't think it's any surprise that why so many successful people say that you become the people that you surround yourself with, and it's true, because I have friends myself still now that they're not as goal driven as me, and we slowly started to break away and lose that connection. But it was kind of sad to see, because I'm out here trying to work my ass off to get things done throughout the day, to be productive, to go to the gym every morning. And I told my friend, like, I want to bring them along, because like, let's go do this. And they're like, no, what's the point? Or they're so like, they have like no hope or aspiration. For example, like I like to think of things like, you know what, I want to be very successful, I want to be very rich, I want to be financially free, I want to be the best version of myself I can be. And I've had business talks with my friends and told them my ideas, my dreams, and they're like, that's not gonna happen. It's very rare. They're like, why do you think only like 5% of the world is rich? But I'm like, there's certain things that those 5% are doing and not the rest of the world is doing it. And they're like, no, these people got lucky. They just happened to find the product that made them rich. And I'm like, no. You know how many times that these people failed? How many companies they started before they hit big? So it's like, it's sad to see people like that. And it is very important to put yourself with people that think alike. That's why me and Anthony started this podcast. We shared these goals and we're like, you know what, we need to spread it to other people.
Yeah, and what I wanted to add to that is at the core of it, it's all down to your mindset and how work-driven you are. Because at the end of the day, people will criticize you, there will be haters, but at the end of the day, if you truly believe in that and you stick to it, you will reach that goal. So it's all like the core of it is how driven you are and how passionate you are about the thing you're pursuing, whether it be business, workout, etc.
Exactly. And a lie that you hear people say all the time, and my own parents always tell me this, when I always talk about money and like getting rich, they always say rich people are not happy. But I've never seen a rich person online or in real life with a frown on their face, not once. Every person that has a good car, that lives a good life, I'm not saying they're happy all the time, but I'm sure that they're way happier than that, or if they would be broke instead. So one thing I want to talk about, or let's talk about your self-improvement journey. So as you guys know, me and Angel, we've been on self-improvement longer than we started this podcast. But, we started again with the podcast. I myself have been on and off for about 3 years now. How long have you been on this? When did you find out about self-improvement?
I'd say about 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Yep. Okay, so did you say quarantine? When did your
self-improvement
self-improvement
start?
It
was right at the end of quarantine when I came back to school and started talking to people and stuff like that. I mean, first off, everybody remarked how like fat I got and stuff like that. And that was just like a shocker because like nobody ever talked to me like that.
So that was the motivator for you to change?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then from there everything just spiraled because I started watching, because mainly at first it was just to get fit again. And then I started watching videos on that, and then from there it basically like opened me up to all of self-improvement, not just fitness-wise. But yes, I'm definitely very fitness-focused. Again, I have a couple, brand ambassadorships coming on. But yeah, it's definitely fitness was the thing that initially got me into the self-improvement journey.
It's really cool, man. So then you just started hitting the gym, and then eventually you started doing other things and building and building.
And then started getting more info, watching more people, and then just constant podcast was a big thing because it's like something you could just put on in the background and then just do other things, and then just the info keeps coming and coming.
That's why you guys got to listen to this while you work out.
Yeah.
This one should be dropping at 6 a.m. So.
Yeah. And how he said at the beginning how he's goal driven. Being masculine is being goal driven. And look, he had a goal to become more fit, to lose weight, to be better physically. And look where that goal led him to. He ended up getting partnerships with brands, and he ended up looking into other self-improvement to not only improve himself physically, but in other ways,
financially, etc.
I see. So it's like you have to have that goal in order to open all those pathways.
Yeah.
But it all starts with one thing.
Yeah.
All right. So I know that we've all been through a lot of hard, difficult times to get where we are today. I know that as a man, you have to go through hard times, or else you're not going to make it to the top. And obviously, there's a lot more harder times to come. Do you guys think that anybody can be masculine or be a real man without going through any sort of trauma in their life?
I mean, I would for sure say that people that have gone through trauma are a lot more masculine, and there is masculine men that maybe had a decent life, but obviously they're gonna lack certain traits that men that have gone through trauma, who have gone through difficult times, they're gonna be lacking traits that these men do have because they went through that. For example, my grandparents, they immigrated from Mexico, and they went through a lot of hardships. I would always talk to my grandpa. He told me about all these hardships and how it molded him to be the person he was today. And it was sometimes simple things. He's like, one day I was doing this thing, and like I just had this realization, and from then on, everything changed. My mindset towards that thing, my paradigm towards this certain aspect of life. And he's like, I just, like, with all these difficult moments, I learned how to appreciate myself more. I learned how to appreciate things around me more, my family, and people that always live in a good time. They often don't have that appreciation for the things around you, but for the things around them. Like Americans, like we complain so much as Americans, but we don't realize how privileged we are compared to the rest of the world until you're put into that situation where it's either you pay for gas or you have to eat. And it's like, what do? Do I pay for rent or do I eat? Do I go a day without eating so I could have the house for another month or another week? It's moments like that build you to who you're going to be in the future.
Yeah, and I want to add on to that. It's like that one saying where hard times create hard men create good times, and then good times create soft men, and then it repeats. I don't know if that's like the exact verbiage, but that's
something
saying.
like that. Yeah.
Something along those lines.
So.
Yeah, that's a good quote. That's true. Now, one thing with pain is also having a dominant masculine frame. So you get this by working out. Obviously, when you work out, you don't feel the same type of pain, but you work out and you feel pain and you feel stress, and what happens? Your muscles build. So it kind of goes to the same thing in life. And whatever you do, because I know a lot of people, including myself, that used to think stress was bad. So one thing that I want to touch on is if you feel stress, that's good for you because that's how you build and grow, because muscles cannot grow without stress. It's the same thing in life. So if you're ever feeling stressed, just know that's a good thing and you might grow. So I want to talk about the benefits, actually, shifting to the gym and working out, of having a big frame, having, a wide, huge body. So one of the main benefits that I know about that is getting respect from others. Obviously, there's also attracting more girls, but we're going to save that for a different video. So what I want to touch on mostly is getting respect from others. So when you talk and have a conversation with somebody and you appear bigger and you actually have a strong body, 100% of the time, they're going to respect you and listen to what you're saying a lot more. And I know this from experience. If I see a guy who's a lot smaller than me, I can tell he's never worked out before. It's not that I don't care what he has to say, but whatever he has to say, just naturally for me, like its value just decreases because I just look at him as like, I'm stronger, I'm bigger. So just subconsciously, even if I'm not, I'm going to think I'm better than him. I probably already know what he's talking about. But whenever I talk to somebody who's actually bigger and stronger than me, it just forces me to listen. And that's how it's always been. So how important do you guys think? And what's another benefit that you've experienced in your life from actually having a big dominant frame or just being strong in general? So we'll start with Arm.
All right, so yeah, for me, it was a night and day difference getting huge versus being, fat, chubby. Because, first off, people realize that it takes so much dedication and so much grinding to get that body. It's not achieved overnight. It takes, hours, and I mean, personally myself, I've been training for 2 years, and I'm still, so like you'll see some people like the frames that you want to get to, they take like 5 years of just pure training and dedication, versus whenever you look at somebody that's just fat and just let themselves go, it's just hard to like have respect for them, because like they have no respect for their body. So how can you have respect for them when they don't respect themselves? They just let themselves go. All those bad habits just stack up. They just eat junk food. They don't care. Versus somebody just naturally, I feel like you're programmed. Whenever you see somebody big, you know what it took to get there, the pain that they had to go through, just the mental hardships. Personally, myself, knowing like getting that last rep in, stuff like that, just mentally challenging. Just going through all that, cutting, cardio, grinding in the gym, that just gets you that good body, and it's just hard not to respect somebody with that kind of body. And I feel like generally, like anybody that doesn't work out, like they see a big person, they just naturally respect them. But when you work out yourself, I feel like you respect that person even more, because you know what they went through, because you're going through it yourself. So that's what I think on that.
I think you said it perfectly right there. You can't, because if somebody doesn't respect themselves, it's hard for you to respect them. I think that's why if you're talking to a smaller person, it's really hard to respect what they're saying. So, okay, go ahead, Angel.
Some things that I've noticed since I've started working out, it's like when you start working out and you feel that confidence in yourself, building your body, you tend to naturally want to improve your posture. And that's part of having that dominant frame. Because if you look around, most people that walk around, especially the guys, they have their shoulders down and they're looking down. But once you start working out and you're building that confidence, you tend to sit up straight, you tend to walk up straight, you tend to have your shoulders back, and that attracts eyes. Both men and women will look at you more. I've experienced this as walking day through day. I see a couple girls look at me, but like Anthony said, that's something we're gonna say for another time. But even guys, like they either look intimidated, or it's like, damn, like this guy who's really confident in himself, he's built together. Like I've gotten so many death stares from guys that are like smaller or not, they could just tell they're lacking confidence, and it's like it asserts that dominance without you even having to say anything. Just you being that big frame, being confident in yourself, people know you're in the room and people look at you, regardless of what you do or don't do.
All right, some amazing points. And we're almost to the end of the episode. But the last thing I'm going to touch on before we close it is how to have a strong mindset, because I feel like that's one of the most important things in order to be masculine. It all starts with your mind. So I'm going to say 2 points on how to have a strong mindset. And the first one is always compete. So you always have to be competitive. There always has to be somebody in your mind that you're competing against. Because I feel like, at least personally for me, and I know a lot of people, that's how you actually get work done, when you're competing against people. And I know a lot of people say compete against yourself. That's cool too, but I think it's a lot better to honestly have people in your life, or people that you see that you want to be like, that you're competing to get to their level. So for example, if I'm walking around in school, say like I want to get like a bunch of girls, I'm talking to girls, and then I see a guy and he's taller than me, he's bigger, he's jacked, or he's rich, and there's nobody rich in our school, but like he has a lot of money, and I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, oh shoot, like that's the guy I have to compete against, and it only motivates me to get even better. So there always has to be people that you see that you compete against, people that are better than you. So that's why another thing, it's important to have people in your circle that are better than you. That in certain things you can be better in certain aspects, but they have to be better. So maybe you can be making more money, but they can be stronger. So that way there's always something to chase. You always have to have something to chase. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, we also already touched on this, do hard things to appreciate good things. So I'm just going to give one example of something I used to do. I used to wake up every morning and I used to not use my phone for 5 hours. For the first 5 hours of my day, I used to not touch my phone. Well, on the other hand, I know a lot of people that I even live with, as soon as they wake up, grab it right away. But I stayed 5 hours. So after that, the second I actually got my phone and got to use it and go on social media, I appreciated it. It felt a lot better than when I used to just grab my phone right away after I wake up. So those are the 2 things right there to add really quickly on how to have a strong mind. Now, before we end the podcast, anything you want to plug, brother?
I'll just plug my Instagram. So my Instagram is aram.shkhyn04. That's my social media fitness account, and big things to come. So look forward to that.
Yeah,
Follow the boy.
We hope the best for you, man.
Thank you, man.
And make sure follow the Instagram. You really should be following it. You should be subscribed to your YouTube channel.
Yep.
And
any comments, concerns, suggestions, questions, we're up for it.
yes, sir. Appreciate y'all guys.
All right.
Have a good day, good night, good morning. We're out.